this is your foundation, is your money. And whatever wealth you're holding in the system, you have to be properly diversified. You can, if it's available, you can buy food with this. So anything that's physical is barterable. Gold and silver are more universally barterable. But get involved in community. Create that community. I mean, that's why I'm here. That's why I was in Vancouver, because it's about developing that community so that you can come together and be stronger. If you have money outside of the system, especially, I mean, you do need some level of cash because that is most recognizable for people. And I don't know that it has the chip in there for negative rates yet, but this is real money because they're inflating away the value of this. Yeah. I mean, they're inflating that away. So when Robert says that, I 100% agree with him. It is something that I live by, is my mantra. And you just need to be as independent and self-sufficient as possible so that you have choices. Because if you aren't, what choices do you have? There's a couple things in there. Number one, when they set up the fiat money system, and the literal translation of fiat is by decree. So it's a government-based system. They knew that not one man in a million understands inflation. And hey, didn't we just have Christine Lagarde and Jay Powell and other central bankers come out and say, yeah, I don't really understand that either. Oh, shocker. They also knew that people marry the legal money of the state, right? So it's hard for people to believe that the euro could go away, although in France, they definitely went from a franc to a euro, and there was about 17% worth of inflation built in, and the public was told, okay, well, we need to do this for the transition, but it's going to be so much better for everybody. And yet studies have shown that it has not been better for most. But using inflation, that causes what's called nominal confusion. So number one, like a $20 bill 10 years ago, $20 bill 6 months ago, buys you a whole lot less today than it did before. So when the money comes into your hands, it has the most purchasing power, and then inflation erodes the rest of it. Once you give somebody something, you can't take it away easily. So even in this country or in other countries where they're talking about the deposit insurance, right? And talking about the possibility of temporarily backing 100% of the deposits. If they did that, and they may, but if they did that, can they ever take that away? And we're already officially in the US, we are officially at 3 cents purchasing power value. And that's official. So it's a lot less than that. And what they're talking about is the need to go to a CBDC where they can have their finger on the pulse in real time. So they issue policy. They want you to go out and spend money and you're trying to save money. Well, they just drop that interest rate to negative, because once they're there, these are their words, not mine. There are no limitations to how low we can push interest rates. And what that really does is attack principal because they already got all your purchasing power. Everything has been turned into a financial trading asset, including water, air, everything. So I think, and if you look at the World Economic Forum, they're talking about a reset, a restructuring socially, economically, and financially. So that means that, like my grandchildren coming up, if I didn't do what I'm doing, they would have absolutely no choices. And I think we're going back to a feudal system. I think that's what it's going to look like, where you just have a few of the wealthy landowners and everybody else is working for them and renting everything. And that's why it becomes absolutely critical. So I went out and it took me a while, but I found a very, very, very remote property. I now own 41 acres on the top of a mountain that is completely off grid, and I can easily, and really, right now, it wouldn't be ideal. But if I absolutely had to, I'm doing everything for a community of 40 people up there. So I could actually house and feed 40 people today if I had to. You know, food, water, energy, security. I mean, this is what you got to do, and you're going to be more fine, and you're going to have the ability to help other people. And there is power in numbers. Look, I'm old. I'm 68. I think I got another 32 years on this planet, but my grandbabies aren't. You know, and I want them to have choices.
Yeah.
I don't want them to live in a limited life of scarcity. I want them to have choices so that they can dream and they have the ability to have those dreams come true. And I think that's the part that bothers me the most, is that, you know, people won't have the ability to dream because all of their choices, if we allow this, all of their choices will be made by somebody that has never lived in the real world.
Yeah.
We have a choice. And the work that you're doing, the work that I'm doing, is educating people and attempting to help them have a paradigm shift so that they can see what's really happening and make educated choices that actually puts their best interest first. You know, I mean, I've talked about the new tools that they created in 2013 to make it appear that there are fewer and fewer derivatives, which are just big between unique, and you can't convert them into the underlying. And their price action is based on the underlying movement of what depends on the derivative, but stocks or interest rates or defaults or any of this stuff. Everything, even long-term real estate, has been turned into a short-term trade, these long-term bonds, etc. The banks, the insured banks, spent $180 trillion to compress these derivative trades and make it look like there's $185 trillion worth of derivatives out there. I mean, think about this. They spent as much to make it look like there was only this amount. How many derivatives are really out there?